All right, welcome everyone to today's presentation. It's leveraging AI for business marketing. So, by business marketing, honestly, you can apply these principles to any industry. A little bit about myself. I work for Learning Resources as the associate director for the Padrone campus. I'm also adjunct faculty for the School of Business, and I teach applied AI for business. Now, aside from that, I also have a marketing agency. And I think people in marketing have been using AI for quite a while. And they've been using large language models similar to ChatGPT for several years now. So I think ChatGPT is probably the most sophisticated one, um, at least from what I've seen. And the technology just keeps getting better and better. So with today's presentation, I want to go over a few marketing concepts and something anyone can apply to their business from day one, and some tools that you can use in your business, some AI tools. These AI tools are fantastic, but what I want to show you today is give you a few tips so you can really leverage them to do what you need them to do. So a few objectives for today. We're going to discuss AI tools for marketing and some strategies to using AI for marketing. Before we get into that, I think there's some groundwork I want to cover with everyone today. Something that'll really help you think how to apply these tools and when to apply them. Before we get to that, I really want to share with you something called the AIDA sales funnel. This is sales 101, right? And what I mean by sales, I know sales tends to be a very like a bad word to a lot of people. We're allergic to it, right? As soon as we hear sales, we're like, we have this idea of like some greasy sales car dealership, trying to sell us a car, an overpriced car. Um, but really, sales is something that we do every day, right? If you want someone to donate to a nonprofit, or you're trying to let people know about the local hospital, or you're trying to sell a car. There's sales everywhere. So the AIDA sales funnel is basically marketing 101, right? I kind of want you to imagine that you have a group of people, right? You have 1,000 people that you want to market to. You're actively showing flyers to your audience, okay? Your audience that you have decided needs your product or service. I want you to grab that audience and imagine that you're putting them down this funnel, okay? And these are the different stages they go through to be able to either buy your product or buy your service, or do whatever it is that you want them to do. So the word conversion here at the bottom is whenever your customer, or I'm just going to use customer for the rest of today's presentation, whenever your customer does the action you want them to do, whether it's make a phone call, sign up for a class, buy that book that you're selling. So conversion is the ultimate goal you want to get to. Every type of marketing that you do, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, putting flyers up, putting up a billboard, anything, you are targeting your customer at one stage in this funnel. So let's go over this funnel really quick. So the first one, awareness, right? It's when someone, they're in the original process, right? They're going through the sales process and they want to know, they're not aware of your product. So a lot of times we're scrolling on Instagram and we're just not sure, right? Like we're looking through Instagram and we happen to see, a video of a plant store had just opened up by our house. Okay. I was not aware of that plant store. This is the first time I see it. So that right there, that marketing, right? That ad is targeting people that are in the awareness stage of the sales funnel, right? Like, I just want you to know that I'm here. And really, I'll ask this to the group of people here, everyone that's part of this. Has anyone here ever seen an ad on YouTube and bought directly? Like, you see an ad on YouTube, you're trying to watch a music video, and you see an ad on YouTube, and you click the website and you buy that product immediately. Has anyone here ever done that?
Done it through Facebook.
Through Facebook, but never through YouTube, right?
Not yet, no.
So I've asked this question several times when I give this presentation, and everyone tells me the same thing. No, no one has ever seen an ad on YouTube, one of those invasive ads that we have to watch when we want to watch a video, and said, okay, cool, I'm gonna buy this right now. Never, it's never happened. So why do companies spend money making those videos and spending that money on ads? Why do they pay influencers? Why do they pay, all these people when they know that people are not going to see the video and completely, and buy the product right then and there? The reason they do that is because they are targeting this awareness part of the funnel. Okay. They want to target the right people, just let them know that, hey, we're here. Okay. The interest and desire part of the sales funnel, right? These two, it's when someone is in the consideration stage. So we talked about plants, right? At the time when I saw the ad, I wasn't really looking for plants. I was, just living my life, not really looking for plants. And then I bought an apartment, and the first thing that I need is, hey, I have a balcony. I want plants. I want to make it look really nice. So now there's an interest, right? It's kind of piqued my interest. Now I'm like, okay, I want plants. Um, maybe shop around. Let me shop around. Let me see if it's something that I even need. If it's something that I'm not for sure gonna get plants, but I'm considering it. Okay. So that's the interest stage. So what do? I go on, a few websites. I look to see, for plants. The algorithm on social media, whatever platform it is, you might start getting ads showing more plants in different plant stores. And usually in that stage, the ads are a little bit different, right? The algorithm has already picked up that, you seem to be looking up plants. So you'll start to see more features. Okay. And what I mean by features is differentiations between each of the plant stores. So for example, plant store number one, for every plant that you buy, you get a second plant free. The other plant store, they have free shipping. The other plant store, they give you free fertilizer. Okay. Now, the desire section of the sales funnel is the customer has decided that they are going to purchase this product. They just need to find out where. Okay. You also see ads for that too. They're still in the consideration section of it. And those ads are, like I said, focusing on features, not so much the benefits. Now, the benefits of a product, what I mean by that is the benefits of a product is usually when you just want to share what the product itself does. Okay, so for example, in the plant store, the benefits would be, helps bring life to your house. It's great for interior decorating. The features would be, well, this plant lives, for 100 years, and you don't have to put water in it. It's really what distinguishes your product from everyone else's product. The last one is action conversion. This is the goal, right? That connection you want to make with your customer. Okay, whether it's phone call, they buy your product, so on and so forth. Okay, now that we have that down, right? This is called the AIDA sales funnel. There's different types of sales funnels out there. I think it's probably one of the oldest ones. I think it was about 100 years ago. Check it out, read up more on it. There's a bunch of stuff on it online. This was just a very basic description. Now let's switch it up. So now that we've spoken about this, let's talk about AI. How can AI help us to create those ads, to be able to target customers when they're in that different section, when they're in those different stages of the sales funnel? Also, you need to understand that a lot of these platforms that we do ads on, especially digital marketing, Facebook, Instagram, Google, they're using AI. Like a lot of times you can generate images now using their own platforms. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So AI can serve as a tool to enhance our ads. And really, what you're doing with an ad is you are trying to explain your story to customers, right? You are trying to connect with them. The ultimate goal in business in ads is to build a relationship with customers. Whether they're in the awareness part of it, you want them to be aware of you, right? So you can build, so hopefully when they're trying to look for your product or service, they can come to you. You're always trying to build a relationship, because ultimately people don't do business with businesses. People do business with people. And all of your ads, everything that you do, you always want it to be human centered. And that's really where AI, uh, if you ask ChatGPT or any of these large language models to write something for you, at first it may seem a little unhuman, right? It's something very professional, which is great because it can serve as a starting point. But our job as marketers is to really add that human touch, because you want to build relationships with those customers. So AI can help us create images. Those of you that have seen Sora from OpenAI, it's video, and very excited to see when that launches. I'm sure it'll be out sometime this year. So you can imagine how AI is changing things. So ultimately, AI has a difficult time sounding human, and that's really where we come in, and we have to be able to change that, right? So a few tips. When you are creating some type of ad, right? One of the things you can use is storytelling. Storytelling works very, very well for different things. So this is a part of a slide that I gave for a presentation for learning resources, but I also think it's something that we can apply in our in our businesses, in our departments. Storytelling is a fantastic tool. It ties into different parts of someone's brain. It's easier for them to remember things. And ultimately, storytelling is something that you can use for teaching as well, too. So a few tips with storytelling. Your story, like whatever it is that you're sharing, it's not about your product, but what your product can do for the customer. Okay. This example that we have in front of us, I was talking to learning resources, to the tutors, telling them it's not about tutoring, but what tutoring can do for the students. So as you're creating your story, as you're creating your ads, as you're putting prompts into ChatGPT, as it's giving you responses, these are things you need to keep in mind, right? What can my product or service do for the customer? Usually you want to write an active voice. As I'm sharing these things, right? In the back of your head, I want you to think about the kinds of prompts you can generate in ChatGPT, in Bard, in Claude, all these different large language models, okay? What I'm sharing with you today are parameters, okay? You can put into those prompts. So for example, when you go to ChatGPT, you can share something, and I'll give you guys an example now. Generate an ad for Facebook, right? For Facebook ads in passive voice. Generate a story, create a story about selling pencils and how pencils helped someone ace their test, right? Something along those lines. For those of us that haven't taken an English class in a while, these are 5 things all stories have. Okay, exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. How on earth can you get those 5 things into 30 seconds or 15 seconds or 1 minute? Truth is, it can be kind of difficult, and you may not have exactly all 5 parts to the story, but it does serve as a great starting point, right? And a great way, something you can really put into your prompts. Okay, so imagine with that prompt that I gave you guys about pencils, you say create a story, make sure it has an exposition, a rising action, a climax, falling action, a resolution, and see what it generates, right? See what script it gives you. That can serve as a starting point to create some content for your ads. Okay. Something else. Testimonies are so powerful nowadays. When you're about to buy a product, right? you go to Amazon, let's say. What's the one thing that you look for? What's something that you look for when you're looking for a product? What's one thing that I think we all do?
Reviews.
Reviews. That's right. 100%. So reviews are powerful. And I've seen people that they go into the reviews and then they look at all the comments, they look at pictures, they look at videos. Reviews are very, very powerful. And why? Because a lot of them end up sharing stories. Did this work for this other person? They can be fake, right? But we tend to trust them, especially stories that we can relate to. So here's another tip: as you're creating ads, flyers, whatever that may be, people will imitate people like themselves. So, I want to share the example of these. Oh, sorry. Let me go back here. A little typo. Okay. Let's compare these two testimonies. Okay. We'll start with the bottom first. Learning resources pencils are the best. Okay. 5 stars, learning resources pencils are the best. And let's compare with this other testimony. I thought all pencils were the same. I later realized learning resources pencils were the best. I think a lot of us, when we're going to get pencils, unless, we've are into that world, we kind of feel like most pencils are the same, right? Like whether it's from one brand or another brand, wood, eraser, it's pretty much the same. Maybe we know some different features, but it's not really something most of us think about, I think. If we were to see a review that says, I thought all pencils were the same, I think most of us might be able to relate with that, right? I thought all pencils were the same. I thought all pencils were the same too. I later realized learning resources pencils were the best. So better review than if someone says learning resources pencils are the best. The types of reviews that have a story, like I purchased a plant for Mother's Day last year from this company, and my mom absolutely loved that plant. That's a story right there, right? We have a setting, so on and so forth. So people trust stories they can relate to. Students trust stories they can relate to. If you've seen ads for different schools, a lot of times they'll have a student talking about their experience at the school. Okay, so we're going to stop right here and let's go to ChatGPT. So I need some help from the audience here. Can someone give me a product and the name of a company? You can make it up.
Can we be realistic? Can we do the Civic Action Scorecard is the product?
Okay.
What do you want students to engage in, use, become active with? And the company would be ICED, Institute for Civic Engagement and Democracy.
Okay. And let's talk about conversions. Okay. So what do we want students to do? Do we want them to call? Do we want them to, is it something they need to sign up for? Tell us a little bit more about that Civic Action Scorecard.
So the Civic Action Scorecard is kind of gamified. 90 different actions that students can do. They do an action, they document, and they reflect across 5 broad categories, and then they earn points towards a silver, a bronze, or a gold award.
Okay. Perfect. So we want them to complete the scorecard or to sign up to complete the scorecard?
To do actions. So students can do whatever actions they want. There's actions in democratic engagement, arts and culture, social innovation, environment, and sustainability. So they do an action, they document the action, they reflect, and then they earn points. Ultimately, we want them to earn the silver, the bronze, or the gold award.
Okay. So what I'm thinking with what you're sharing is we should probably do an ad for the awareness stage of the funnel, right? Because maybe in the fall, we're going to get a lot of new students that may not be aware of the Civic Action Scorecard. So We want them to maybe see a video, and we can post it here on campus, where they can see another student giving their testimony or talking about the civic action scorecard. I think that would be very powerful because we have storytelling, we're giving a testimony, and we're targeting the awareness section of it. So as what I mean by awareness is we need to keep in mind that our audience that may not know what a civic action scorecard is or ICED. So let's go ahead and generate a script to be able to create some content that we can share here in MDC on the videos. So let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. Okay. So with ChatGPT, you always want to give it a role. Okay. So you are a world-class advertiser.
Wow.
So that's the first thing. Generate a script for ICED. What does ICED stand for?
Institute for Civic Engagement and Democracy.
Okay. For a 30-second ad. Okay. So now we're going to start putting parameters, right? Generate a script for a 30-second ad for the Department of, ICED at Miami-Dade College. Use storytelling for this ad and make sure it incorporates the following parts of the story. So I'm going to go ahead and copy paste from the presentation. And don't worry, everyone here will have a copy of today's presentation. Just shoot me an email and I'll share it with you guys before we finish today. So use storytelling for this ad and make sure it incorporates okay. Make it seem like a testimony from a student. Okay, so we're just gonna draw an example here, right? Ideally, you want a testimony from an actual student that did the program, and you just want to help them shape their story, right? And that's where ChatGPT can really help us. Because a lot of times people share their story, and it doesn't have the 5 parts. They may just tell you, yeah, I came, to Miami-Dade, I did the action scorecard, and it really helped me with my classes. I felt like part of the community. But there's parts missing to that story, right? Like, who's the hero? What did you think? There's many, many parts that are not there. So you're a world-class advertiser, generate a script for a 30-second ad. These are parameters, right? For the Department of ICED at Miami-Dade College. Use storytelling for this ad and make sure it incorporates the following parts of the story. Put that. Make it seem like a testimony from a student. Now, here at the college, we've been meeting with Microsoft regarding Copilot. And they shared something with us where they said you should be nice to the large language models because you get more out of it. So what do we do when we're nice?
Thank you, please.
Please and thank you. Yes. Please generate
Really?
a script. Yeah. And it also understands like when humans are under pressure. So if you say something like I'm under a lot of pressure, please generate a script, you'll get more out of it. For this example, I'm not going to put that on there. So we gave it a role, we gave it a goal, right? Generating a script. And let's see what it gives us.
Oh my gosh.
It's giving us a voiceover. Rising action. When I first joined, I said I was just exploring. I didn't realize the impact it would have on me. Do workshops, projects, and hands-on experience to ever discover the power of our own voice and the importance of active citizenship. Okay, here we go. Climax. But it wasn't until I got involved in a local initiative to improve access to education that I truly felt the impact. Seeing the tangible change we could create together, it was empowering. Following action, Sarah's journey with ISED didn't end there. It was just the beginning. She continues to be an advocate for change, inspiring others to join the movement. Discover your voice, make a difference. Join us at ISED and Democracy Miami-Dade College. Okay, so can I get some feedback on that? What do you think about it?
Wow. Crazy.
I want to hear from my team. Ifika and Ana Lourdes, my student assistants.
Yeah, as I'm reading this, I can see it playing in my head, right?
Can you make the font a little bit larger, please?
Let me see if I can zoom in here. Sure thing.
Perfect, thank you.
So it's not the whole thing here, but
So I am thinking as we see this, we use a lot of Instagram, so they could create a little reel with this.
Yeah.
With
Yes,
students.
100%. Yep. And you would tweak it, right? Because you know your audience. So this helped us get started, and I really think that's the thing with AI, right? You can have it do 80%, the first 80%, you do the last 20%. You can go ahead and edit and change. And obviously this takes a lot of work, right? You have to have the cameras and, but it's a great starting point.
Can I ask you to cut and paste that into the chat just so I can be like, wow.
I tried, but it's too large. I'll go ahead and save it on a Word document.
Okay, perfect.
So, okay, that's just one use case, right? That we have here. And you can apply this to different businesses. I encourage you, to work it out. You told us Reels. We can have it running here on campus. You're already seeing different use case for it. Post on Instagram, post on LinkedIn, all that great stuff. So that's just one use case. Something very interesting I want to share with everyone is for my marketing agency, when we're running ads on Instagram or Facebook, it was very interesting that we found we got more clicks, more conversions, right? When we used AI generated images instead of real images.
Wow.
And that was fascinating to us. So I know we all have ChatGPT, right? Or we know of ChatGPT. If you don't know of ChatGPT, go to OpenAI, check it out. Thing is, the free version of ChatGPT, you can't generate images with it. Adobe Firefly, we all have access to this. If you're a student here at the college or staff or faculty, you can use Adobe Firefly. I love the way Adobe Firefly works. I think it's very easy. And I like the images that it creates. So I'm going to share this with you all. I had put it here in the chat. Let's see what kind of images it creates for us. So describe the image you want to generate. Actually, let's ask ChatGPT. Give me a prompt asking for an image from Adobe Firefly that goes well with this story.
Wow.
So remember, you want to do, this is natural language, right? Kind of want to talk like you would with someone, right? So do that, and we'll use this as a starting point for our prompt.
Question for you, my friend. So I brought in, half of the Wolfson ISED team. Can we repeat this if we get the college-wide ISED team for you to give us a one-on-one?
I would love to. Oh yeah, definitely. And we're just scratching the surface here, right? This is
Yes. I mean, I am just like, wow.
I'm glad you like it.
We thought
That's
Canva was
great.
cool,
Yeah.
but wow.
So these are some
Wow.
we can make it hyper realistic. We can change the camera angle, right? Give it to me in a wide angle lens. Let's do that one. And you can give it a reference, a structure. So these large language models learn from feedback. And we have a whole presentation on prompt engineering. My colleague Emmanuel Santos, he made it. It's from Learning Resources Hialeah campus. Fantastic presentation. I highly recommend
Yeah.
it. So generate a hyper realistic image. Let's see if that gives us something that looks a little bit more real. And remember, we want to relate with our audience. So generate a hyper realistic image of Miami-Dade college students. Let's see what that gives us. What does it think a Miami-Dade college student looks like? And this, you can imagine, has its ethical implications, right? If we ask, what does a Harvard student look like? What are going to be their features? What are, these are all things that we're talking about in society now. So,
Yeah. Oh,
oh, interesting. So you can see, right? Some things are a little off, right? But the wonderful thing about this is you generate prompts, you can, keep working on it. So definitely a great tool to check out. So
but it's
one of
funny, it did turn a lot more brown than the other one.
yeah. So, and that's all based on data that it has. So generate an image of a taco shop in Little Havana. So this is something I do with my students in my class. I want to show you guys one of the hyper realistic ones. Let's see if we can get that. So
No, I think I'm just listening to this, and I think this intro to to AI for our team, because we work so much with social media and presentations, and just even generating text for our WhatsApp. The one that I
Oh.
did was amazing. But my prompts weren't as good as yours are.
Oh, you tweak it. The prompt engineering workshop, I'll share it with you all. I think it's one of our Tech Tuesdays that are coming up.
Okay.
Check it out. It's fantastic. And of course, you can always, talk to me and we'll figure something out for your team. Okay. Next thing I want to talk to you all about today is design principles for landing pages. So a landing page, let's say someone sees your ad, they click on the ad, and then they want to go to your website, right? A landing page is basically one page that helps the customer connect with you. Websites, landing pages, their purpose is to help build their relationship with you and your customer. So we can use AI to help us with our landing pages, with our LibGuides, whenever we want to build a website, anything like that. What kind of text should we put in there? So really quick, as you're designing things, right, know that the top of the page is gold. The moment someone goes on your page, the first 5 seconds should let them know what it is that your page is about. So keep that in mind. It should always have what we call a call to action button. So someone goes on your page, what are the next steps? What do you want them to do? Is it to call? Do you want them to sign up? Do you want them to register? Do you want them to fill out a form? Should always have one button. The least amount of buttons, the better. Just one button that tells them exactly where you want them to go. So every ad that you do, every flyer, should have a page that accompanies it, right? A landing page where the person can connect with you. Keep it simple, not a lot of text, depending on what it is that you're trying to share. So think of your audience, and of course, how does it look on your phone? So all things to keep in mind. In learning resources, we use something called LibGuides. So we're always building websites. We're always building landing pages for our different events. And you can embed code on there, and ChatGPT can help you with that. I'm not going to go too deep into that today, just because it's because of time. So emails and flyers. I'm going to share with you all a few tips. There's a book I highly recommend everyone to read. It's called Using Behavioral Science in Marketing. In college, I studied economics, but at that time, the field of behavioral economics was something that still relatively new, but I was fascinated with it, and I always try to read up these books into behavioral economics. This one, they use it in terms of marketing, but still the same principles. So Here are a few tips as you're thinking of flyers or emails that go out to customers, students, whoever that may be. So you want to create emails that draw attention. Your subject line in an email is very important because, someone looks at it on their phone, they see the subject line, doesn't call their attention, they're not going to open that email. So you can always imply a deadline, even if you don't have a deadline, and that tends to draw action from your customers. So one example of that, one way you can imply a deadline is using words that reference time. So, for example, let's say I want to send an email to get students to register for the summer. If I say something like, classes, you can register for classes now. Okay. Or if I say register for classes today, register for classes today, limited spaces available, right? That would probably get students to open up the email more than if I just said register for classes. Because register for classes just tells us like, yeah, okay, cool. Not everything I needed, I saw in that subject line. There's no urgency there. So another way you can imply a deadline is using things like limited time only. Don't miss out. So humans have this thing of fear of missing out. Okay. I think during the pandemic, we saw that with GameStop, where it skyrocketed. And I really think a lot of people were purchasing GameStop stock because they didn't want to miss out, right? Everyone's making money. This stock is going to the moon. And they didn't want to miss out on it. So that's something you can add in your subject lines. Don't miss out. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Don't miss out. Summer classes are filling up. Sign up today. Urgency is a significant driver of subject open lines. So words like free, limited, exclusive, tomorrow, all things you can add on there. And if you have a website or you have an email, countdown clocks they increase engagement by 22%. I got that data from World Data 2021. So Adobe Firefly, I shared it with you all. Use it, free tool. Well, the college is paying for it, free for us. So use it, show it to your students, use it for your businesses. Very useful. And now I'm gonna open it up to any questions.
Wow, so many.
Ask away, Am.
Okay, so the college gives us access to Firefly. What other AI tools do we have that are free or paid to by the college?
Ooh, that is a great question.
Mhm.
That's the only one that I know of. Like the Adobe itself, I know we have a subscription for it. Oh, Copilot. We have a limited version of Copilot, but you can still use it. And Copilot uses GPT-4. Okay, so that's like the upgraded version of ChatGPT. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this here. Sign in with your MDC credentials. And the good thing about Copilot is that it's protected. So if you put, input sensitive information, the model's not learning from it. So I really think that's why the college decided to go with that route. Those are the two that come to mind. There are other tools that are very useful, but I don't think the college.
What is Copilot exactly?
Copilot, you know what? Let me show you. It's a large language model similar to ChatGPT.
And large language model means?
Large language models are, how can I put this? They are things like ChatGPT, like Bard. You can have conversations with them, and they host large amounts of data, and they'll share whatever it is that you're asking them to do. So I kind of want you to think like ChatGPT. Things like ChatGPT are large language models.
Okay, and ChatGPT, the one we can get, the free version, is pretty good, right? Or is it?
Yes. But this one, Copilot, it's like a better version of the ChatGPT.
Okay.
So you can use this one. You can add an image to it. So it's free to use. So just to give you an example, let's see. Let's put this prompt in it. Let's see what it gives us. I think I've noticed with Copilot, it's getting better over time because if you don't give it enough information, it'll start to ask you Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. So it kind of helps you think through the problem.
So I know that after we finish meeting, that the powerful and amazing library resources will clean up this video a little bit.
Yes.
And then it'll be, do you know how long that takes more or less? Because I'm so eager to share it with my team now.
Ooh, I'll have to get back to you. I think usually they do it within 2 weeks.
Okay.
So really quick before we get going, I have to get this part done. If you're here, can you please put your student ID, if you have a student ID, in the chat? This helps us keep attendance and be able to continue to give presentations like this. So
And what if if we're staff?
the staff, it's fine. I'll look you up. That's fine.
Oh,
So this is what it gave us. I don't know, the ChatGPT one I kind of liked a little bit more. But you could give it feedback, and with these, you should always give it feedback. That's just one tip right there. So just like,
Because then by giving it feedback, it kind of learns your style of what you're looking for. That's how it kind of finds your voice. Because one of the
yes,
things that I hear from teachers, professors, one of the ways professors know when something is AI generated, because they don't hear their student's voice in there. You
that's
know,
right.
it's like, it's not you. It's, well, but yeah, I don't hear you in here.
Yep, that's exactly it. I think with AI, it's like a third voice has entered the room, right? It's like the student voice, the teacher voice, and now there's this third voice, right? Like what is this saying, and it's changing students' writing if they use it, changing ads, but that's why this term of high AI, something that we've used here in Learning Resources, human intelligence and artificial intelligence. That's where you get the optimum choice. So working together with AI.
Right. It's a tool. It's a tool that it's not going to go away. So we have to learn how to use it to give us
Leverage it. Yeah.
more time to do other things that we enjoy doing and to, make our stuff.
Mhm.
So I think one of the things that our society is going to have to learn how to do is how to become better orators, things that ChatGPT cannot do, how to become verbal, use the script, but learn how to interpret it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yay.
All right. So any questions? Any other questions?
No, I want to ask
no.
so many, but thank you so much. I want to tell Teresita and Zoila, this was so incredible.
Well, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
And I'm going to share the rest of the schedule with the team so that they can join, because I think we'll learn from all of them. And I know that our flyers, and I know that, when we use also Canva to make flyers, that's also using a computer generated. So many things, but yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I can share something here with you all. So this is the rest of our Tech Tuesdays. So this one, using AI tools to get ahead in school. This is great for students. This one here, this is Johnny from Wolfson Campus. How to use Adobe Firefly. This one he goes into detail, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, we have our skill shops online, and he's been using them for our thumbnails. So let's go to YouTube really quick. I can share with you all what this looks like. So these thumbnails, a lot of them are created using AI, like this one here, Class versus Zoom. He created that using Adobe Firefly.
Wow.
This one here too. So they look very realistic. This one here. So thank you everyone for attending, and I'll send an email out with the presentation and with some resources you guys can check out.
Oh, thank you so much. We're so
Thank
grateful.
you.
Yay.
It's amazing. Thank you.
Have an amazing day. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.